Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. We will start discussing the top 5 Halloween movies that I really think everyone should watch during Halloween season. So the first one on my list is Hocus Pocus. But in case you're not in the Disney community and you haven't seen it, because it's from, I think, the early 90s, so it actually came out before I was born, if I remember correctly. I'll put a little blurb somewhere here, the year it came out, but I'm pretty sure it was before I was born. And so I didn't see it until it was in reruns years later. But I love Hocus Pocus. So I'm gonna start discussing this as if you haven't seen it in case you're not really in that community. But Hocus Pocus follows the story of a teenage boy who ends up bringing 3 witches kind of back from the dead. And he goes on this adventure with his little sister, who is a complete smart aleck, and this girl that he likes, who ends up being his girlfriend by the end. And it is such a fun story. There's also a talking cat who has, like, it's quite a tearjerker. And I don't want to give away any spoilers in case you haven't seen it and you want to. But there's a storyline about Binks, who is actually a boy, and the witches condemned him to being an eternal talking cat who can never die. And so he gets like run over by a car and he's not even hurt. He just kind of goes flat and then like reanimates. It's actually really cool. It's just really fun. It ends well. It's got some great music, but I wouldn't call it a musical. It's not a musical at all. So if you're not into that, then you should really like it, because I'm not really into musicals. And I love it, so I definitely recommend it. And also in the description box, I'm going to put where you can watch all of these movies, and if you can purchase it, I'll put a link to that on Amazon Prime or whatever it is. The next movie on my list, and I talked about this last year, and I'm putting it on my list again this year because it's always one of my absolute favorites, but Halloweentown is one of my absolute favorite Halloween movies, and I was blown away last year at how many of you guys had never seen it or you didn't know anything about it. And that's just so crazy to me. It came out when I was really little, but I have loved it for my entire life. It's just one of the best Halloween movies out there. This movie is a Disney Channel original, so it did not release in theaters. This follows the story of a young witch who had no idea that she was a witch, and she finds out through her grandmother, who is a very, very fun, epic witch, and she is the absolutely, of course, well-missed and beloved Debbie Reynolds. So you really can't lose when you've got Debbie Reynolds in the cast. But she plays the incredibly fun and quirky grandmother, and it is a great time. And then there's this bad guy who takes over Halloweentown. I'm trying to be really vague because I don't want to give away any spoilers, but they have to go back and save the hometown. And the mom is a total and complete pumpkin head, and I don't mean that in a good way. She's so obnoxious, and she doesn't want them to know that they're witches, because Marnie has 2 siblings that also have powers, and the mom doesn't want them to know because she wants them to be normal, and she's just such a stick in the mud. But they get to go back and have a new life with Halloweentown as part of their life anyway. So I really recommend checking out this movie if you haven't. Even if it's a kiddie movie, so to speak, it is enjoyable for all ages. It's so much fun. It's really funny. It's a little nostalgic. It's from the early 2000s, I believe, so it's not too nostalgic, but it's a lot of fun. The next movie on my list is Psycho, which most people have heard of this, but to me it is the quintessential, monumental, most iconic Halloween movie ever made. And I know most people would think something like Michael Myers or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, one of those like horror slasher films would be that movie, but I think it's Psycho. I saw this movie. It was one of the first horror movies I've ever seen because I was not into that stuff when I was younger. I'm still not really into horror movies, and I can't wait to watch it again this year. It is just flawless. It's got spooky, it's got unexpected, it's got twists and turns, it's beautifully made. And if you haven't seen Psycho, then you really should watch it this Halloween season, or even if it's just been a really long time, then I think you should definitely check it out. Next on our list is Sleepy Hollow, and this is one I'm actually not sure if a lot of you will have seen. I feel like it's a little bit of a cult classic. It's from the 90s as well. If you'll notice a running theme, a lot of these are very, well, Psycho's from way before the 90s, but the other ones on this list are, I think, all from the 90s. And Sleepy Hollow stars Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci, and Christopher Walken. You don't really get better than that palette of actors. And I absolutely love this movie. So it is, I think, the scariest one on this entire list. It is actually quite frightening. And it follows Archibald Crane and his experience with the Headless Horseman. This has a bit of blood, a bit of gore. There is some very scary elements. I would not recommend watching this with children or anyone who is particularly squeamish, because this is a tried and true horror movie. Even Psycho mainly just has the one, you know, the screechy violin, stabby shower scene. This one has got a whole lot more than that. So not for the faint of heart. But Sleepy Hollow is quite the beautiful period piece. I love period pieces. It's absolutely my favorite kind of entertainment. And this one is just beautifully done. It's got a very creepy, eerie tone. Got a little romance, but nothing too crazy. And I mean, Christopher Walken as a villain, like, hello, yes, it's amazing. And the last movie, I'm cheating a little bit because it's kind of a twofer movie, but the last movie on my list is the Addams Family, and I mean the Angelica Houston, Christina Ricci coming up again, Christopher Lloyd, which he's also one of my absolute favorite actors of all time, which, if you don't know, he is Doc from Back to the Future, which of course Back to the Future is also some of my favorite, or one of my favorite trilogies of all time, but that's a different list because that's not Halloween. But Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester. This movie is fun, it's quirky, I would not say it's scary. It's got a little romance, a little zest. Great on the comedy, great. We also get Joan Cusack, which, I mean, hello, how do you not love her too? And I'm gonna recommend both The Addams Family and The Addams Family Values. It's two different movies, but the same people, and they are both excellent movies, perfect for this time of year. And like I said, it's just a fun, lighthearted, weird. Honestly, it's more weird than scary. It's just, they're super weird. That's what they're known for. The Addams Family are known for being super weird, and it's just a good time. Because Addams Family Values is when, oh my gosh, they have a baby and the baby has a mustache. It's just impeccable. You don't get funnier than a newborn baby with a mustache. So those are my top Halloween movies. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this list. I tried to be as organized as possible, but also just kind of sit down and chat with you about these things that I love. I think this particular mix of movies is a great lead up to the day of Halloween. They're just so much fun and got a little spooky and then a little lighthearted, so you're not just freaked out the entire time. Bonus points if you watch Halloweentown while you're decorating or like carving a pumpkin, and then you watch the creepier ones at nighttime with all the lights off. That's how you do it. That is how you do it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Be safe. Don't breathe on people. Don't breathe around people. Just, you know the drill by now. You get it. I'll see you guys this weekend. Bye.